If you want to be successful, you need to find out what's holding you back, and there could be a barrier for success that's stopping you. So in this video, I'm going to show you the top 10 barriers for success that I've found during my time working with people and different organizations. If I go to the number 10, what that might be is planning. You should be looking at that at the beginning of each day. Have a notebook, write down what your mission is for that day. That's your plan for the very first day, and then move forward from there. You can't expect to be where you want to be in 5 years' time if you don't start planning today. And I always look forward, look ahead at what your schedule's going to be to achieve what it is you want to do. Because if you're not planning for that, you'll never achieve it. It's one of those things, if you just expect things are going to happen by you going about your day on a daily basis with no direction, then you're not going to be successful. I'm sorry. That's a very blunt statement to make, but you have to be looking at this regularly. It has to be every day. What's your mission that day? What's your mission the next day? And are you organized? So planning and organization goes together. If you're not organized, you won't be successful. So the number 9, goal setting. Now, goal setting and planning kind of go hand in hand, because if you don't set 5-year goals and 10-year goals as an example, how are you ever expected to get there? So some of the longer term goals might revolve around things like property, share market, but also too, even in your own business, where do you want your own business to be in 5 years? Do you want to expand your team? Do you want to move into other business channels? Do you want to actually get the channel that you're in and expand that into more product range? What's happening with your team? Are you skilling up new staff to replace staff that might be ready to retire? Are you, planning for, upheaval in your marketplace? What happens if this channel here stops working for you? So if you're not planning and goal setting, those two won't go together. So you need to set yourself goals, you need to set yourself targets, and you need to be honest with that. And when you hit those goals, make sure you reward yourself. It doesn't have to be a big reward, but if you're not actually following through on your goals after you've hit them with a reward, the goal didn't mean anything to you in the first place. So with goal setting, you absolutely have to reward yourself. Here's the other thing is too, don't reward yourself for not hitting your goal. Now, that's going to make you want your goal more. So that actually drives your purpose even better. So if you can combine those two things, if we achieve X, Y, and Z, I'm going to do this, and you don't hit it, then you don't do it. You reset your goal and go again. I'm not getting that, whatever it is, that's going to float your boat and motivate you until you achieve that goal. Now, that's very basic goal setting principles, but you should have daily goals, you should have weekly goals, you should have monthly goals, you should have yearly goals and 5-yearly goals and 10-yearly goals. So you just break those down. Every day mounts to the next. Every day mounts to the week. Every week mounts to the month. Every month mounts to the year. Every year mounts to your goal and where you want to be. So set yourself those. And one thing that I can honestly say to you is basic goal setting is never taught to anyone. But if you follow those principles and you stick to it, it's called delayed gratification. If you can delay your gratification and think, well, I'm not going to get, that new car until I achieve this goal, or I'm not going to get a new watch, or I'm not going to get something that you really want. If you want to expand on goal setting, start putting pictures of what it is that you're aiming for up around the place. On your mirror in the morning when you get up, if you're going to a mirror in your bathroom, put a picture of that goal that you want to get, and know why you're doing what you're doing each and every day. So that's a real basic goal setting structure. We can go into more detail in that if that's one of your issues, which we'll find out a bit later on. Righto, fatigue. That is actually something that could be holding you back. Are you just tired? Look, I wake up nearly every day tired. And that's why coffee was invented, I believe. But the reality is fatigue is something that could be running you down. So we actually do need to get better rest, and we also need to take time off. You actually have to reset your thoughts. I'm known for coming up with my best ideas in the shower. I don't know why. It's just that an area where I'm not focused on anything else, my brain just has this level of clarity, and out of that comes this brilliant idea. And sometimes those ideas can form really major changes in organizations that I've worked with. So from my point of view, getting more rest is absolutely crucial. Turn your phones off before bed, those sorts of things. The other thing you can do is look up this one technique that's helped me. It's called the Navy sleep technique. Now, you can find it on YouTube. Go through, just type that in. There's one that's about 3 minutes long. Absolutely swear by it. Actually have my oldest son using that technique now, and he swears by it. Fall asleep in 2-3 minutes easily. So get better sleep. Give yourself the adequate amount of sleep to be able to perform the next day. Because if you're sitting there at work tired, or you're at your job tired, you're not going to think straight, you're not going to perform, and you're certainly not going to be able to put in the effort that's required for you to be successful. So that could be a barrier. Next thing is regular exercise. I know we just talked about fatigue, but exercise will actually help you with sleep. So if you're not getting enough exercise, that's going to cost you actually getting to sleep, because you're going to be still full of energy when you're going to bed, and that's going to cause you not to want to get to sleep. So unfit people have unfit minds, and I don't mean that as a disrespect, but I can honestly tell you, you look at anyone who's successful, they have a fitness regime. All the world leaders who are out and about actually get up in the morning and go for a jog, or they go for a run. I'm not suggesting that's what you do. Do what's ever best for you. But I try and hit the gym every morning, and if I don't, I actually feel bad. I really feel bad. I feel guilty. I feel like I haven't performed. I feel like I've let myself down, because a healthy body allows you to have more confidence. It allows you to have more energy too, and you just get this release of endorphins that go through the body that allow you to actually make better decisions. So exercise to be healthy, not lose weight. That's another key. If you've got a few extra kilos, don't let it worry. If you're healthy, that's the main part. That's the main thing, because you're never going to perform to your best if you're unhealthy. So the spin-off is, if you actually train and exercise to be healthy, you will become less overweight too. You'll lose weight as a result of that, and that's exactly what I did. I've lost 14 kilos now, and my goal, I've got another 2 before my goal, and then I'll reassess where I'm at. But I didn't set out to lose weight. I set out to be fit, and it's not just get fit and then stop. You have to maintain that. Just accept that that's something you've got to do for the rest of your life. So just try and get your mind around getting regular exercise. So that brings us to number 6, which is settling. I call it fat and happy. If you've been sitting back and thinking that that's all you can achieve, you can't achieve anything more, then that's all you will achieve. So sometimes we get comfortable, we feel like we can't actually move on and actually do anything different, and therefore what happens is we tend to not strive to push ourselves any further. So maybe your thinking, maybe your mindset, maybe what you're actually going through your head is actually holding you up, because you feel you can't achieve any more than you already have. Don't make excuses. If that's what's going on for you, push yourself harder. Actually force yourself to go through that. And the best way of doing that is go back to our earlier discussion about goal setting and planning. If you're not doing those, then there's no way that you're actually going to want to push yourself any harder. So don't just settle for what you've already got. Most people who are really successful have actually pushed themselves to the next level, where they want to achieve more and keep trying harder and harder every day, because ultimately that gives you new goals and new things and new challenges that are going to push you to the next level. Righto, let's look at number 5, which is distractions. Distractions are, something that could be anything that's keeping you from doing the tasks that you have to. It could be gaming, it could be alcohol, it could be gambling, it could be anything that's causing you to not focus on what you need to, and therefore that stops us from actually moving on and achieving something. Because if you can't do what you need to do, then that's a barrier for success. What's controlling your thoughts? What's going on up here? Are you thinking about something other than you should be? And that comes back to our daily planning. So if you're planning each day, there should be no barriers for distraction. Get through what you need to achieve, reset yourself, and keep moving forward. If you get ahead of the game, but because you've actually got rid of your distractions and you actually find that you have more time in your day, that means you can fit more in and you can actually plan better and achieve more. So the more you become better at reducing your distractions and being more focused on what you can do, the more you'll fit in, the more you'll achieve, the more successful you'll become. That's a good barrier for success, is distractions. Number 4, technology. Have a look at the technology that you've got. What technology don't you have is holding you back? And perhaps maybe, what is it that you don't know that could actually help you? So do you not understand, for instance, how to use an Excel spreadsheet? Do you not know how to write and use a Word document? Or what about a PowerPoint presentation? Do you not know how to do all those things? And if that's the case, why? Find out what you can do to sort that out. Even just simple tasks that you might be struggling with. What if you're not very good at writing a resume? What if you're not very good at a barrier that's holding you back? You may not have the right phone or something that's causing you not to achieve your goal. That could be a barrier for success. Get yourself a good laptop, get yourself good technology that you can understand and you can use, and something that's going to be beneficial for you on a day-to-day basis. Technology and understanding that technology is vital. So make sure you don't have technology as a barrier for success. Now we're moving towards my number 1. We're nearly there. We're at number 3, and this is what I class as a very important one: laziness. No one wants to admit they're lazy, but humans are humans, and it's very easy for us to sit back and actually not do what we need to do. And the reason for that is doing nothing is very, very easy. And that's very simple for us to do, and it's attractive because, for some people, sitting around by the pool or something like that is a great holiday pastime, but you can't do that all the time or you won't achieve anything. So from a very simple perspective, if you're avoiding doing the hard work, that's a level of laziness, and that's actually going to cause you to be unsuccessful. So there's a barrier for success. And sometimes, we fulfill our days with things that we want to do versus the things that we should do, and think about why you're doing that, and come back to those goals that you set earlier. If that doesn't fit in with your goals, why are you doing it? So stop doing the things and stop avoiding the things that you need to do, and stop doing the things that you need to avoid, because laziness is something that can creep into your routine. So get rid of laziness. Number 2, personality. So do you even know what your personality type is? Do you know what personalities you're dealing with on a daily basis? And if you don't understand your personality type, I suggest you find out. And I suggest you find out because we are all deficient in some areas of our personality. I actually have adjusted my personality as I've gone along in life. There's a few good systems. There's one called DISC. That's a good system, but it's a bit complicated. Another really good book you might want to get is called Personality Plus. You can follow that through, and there's a system in there to actually work out what your own personality is. Therefore, you can start and work out why you do some of the things you do and how you can do things differently to be more appealing to other people as well. There's a process communication model as well, which is something that I've actually studied in and been certified in. PCM is actually used by NASA. Get yourself along to that if you're serious. That will cost you money to get involved in a program like that, but from my experience, it's well worth it. It can cause you to be ineffective. There's no two ways about it. Your personality, if you're finding it's difficult for you to actually get and achieve what you need to do. For instance, if you're an introvert and you're sitting back, not really wanting to interact with people, the only way you're going to get better at that is by doing it. So you need to understand why you're doing that to start with before you can change. And once you do that, once you make those changes, you'll actually find that your success barriers drop significantly, and you can actually start excelling in all areas in your life. So it could be your relationships, it could also be your work, and it could also be business generation, it could be creative thinking, those sorts of things. So try and help yourself by understanding who you are. Now here we're going to get to the number one cause and the number one barrier for success, in my opinion, and that is communication. Communication is without doubt the number one cause of people from not being successful. So without good communication skills, you're never going to be successful. You can't negotiate, you can't socialize, you can't network, you can't do all those things. And if you go to my other video, which is top 10 business development steps that you can use to actually generate business, you'll find that communication is all through that, and there's levels of how to do that. So understanding your personality is going to understand how you can communicate better, but before looking at other things that's holding you back, look first and foremost at your own personality and your own communication, because that's something you can change and it's something you can improve on. My way of looking at it with communication is don't avoid it. These days devices help us avoid people and avoid speaking to other people, and that actually reduces our ability to interact. I have no problem getting up speaking in front of 1,000 people. One of the scariest things I've ever had to do from a communication point of view was live TV in a news section. I've done it a few times now, and that is really difficult because you're under pressure to perform and people are listening to everything you've got to say. So why did I do that? Because I knew it was going to help me actually get better at doing that. So the only way you can get better at doing something is doing what you're not comfortable with, because ultimately by doing that you'll become more comfortable as time moves on. So if communication is a problem for you, try and work on that. And in fact, what I would like you to do now is actually write in the comments, what is your number one barrier for success that you found? Because I'd like to know that. And if I know what your number one barrier for success is, I can actually help you in providing that information, as I've seen it all, and I've seen it, how it's affected people. But for me, communication has been the number one element that I've noticed that people struggle with. But let me know in the comments. Also subscribe to the channel, that way you'll keep up to everything that goes on, and make sure you tick the little bell on the side that'll alert you when there's a channel update. Also, please like the video, and for sure, write down in the comments what's important to you and we'll get to it. Thank you.